Marianne Williamson talks about waging peace. How do we wage peace with the same intensity that we wage war? I am the managing director of the Peace Alliance, working to establish a U.S. Department of Peacebuilding. And there is a bill in the House of Representatives right now. It would be a cabinet level department. We would have a Secretary of Peacebuilding sitting at the table talking about bringing the ideas of nonviolence, the ideas of lessening violence and violence prevention to the conversation on all levels of policies throughout this country and how this country interacts with the rest of the world. This country was conceived of and created through violence, through genocide, through the stealing of lands, through wiping out entire tribes of people, through the enslavement of Africans. A Department of Peacebuilding would go a long way to identifying and being honest and accountable about the violence that this country was built on, trying to root out the policies and the systems that we have in place in this country that continue that violence. How can peacebuilding become an action that we do every moment of every day? Every day, a woman is being killed by her intimate partner. Every day, there is a war happening in somebody's life. So when you think our world is not violent, it may be that yours isn't, but I can guarantee you that the lack of peace that your neighbor is experiencing directly impacts you. We want to be a gathering place for people to come and say, we're going to make these changes. And we're going to keep talking to our elected officials to try to get them to understand how important this is to us. And I really think we have a window of opportunity right now. All of these things can fall under that infrastructure of a U.S. Department of Peacebuilding. And the cabinet level heft that brings means that we're serious about making these changes. It means that we are not just going to talk about it anymore. We're going to do something different. So I live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, but I just recently moved up north. Before this, and when I got hired to be the managing director of the Peace Alliance, I was living in Charleston, South Carolina. I'd been there for over 20 years. So from the early days when I was the peacemaker in my family and I was trying to make sure that my mother and sister weren't killing each other, and I was trying to make sure that we could get through a dinner without somebody getting smacked or yelled at, from those days to now, to the days that I spent in Charleston, marching in the streets along with my black and brown brothers and sisters, we're watching people like George Floyd lose their life under the neck of a police officer who thinks he's got impunity because he's got a badge and a gun. We're watching white 18-year-old males who have been radicalized online because nobody's paying attention to their mindsets and the signals that they're very clearly putting off. He's going to drive 200 miles to go to an area where he knows more black people live, to a grocery store where he knows black people congregate so that he can kill more of them. Those kinds of things are happening over and over and over again, and we do have the power to change it. We do. It's not out of our realm, but we have to stand up and say, this is worth our time. That's what the Peace Alliance wants to do. That's what a U.S. Department of Peacebuilding would create the infrastructure so that we can do. But it's about us. It's about everyday people saying, we're done. We're done with watching this happen to our neighbors and family and friends, and we want to see change.